Is your bar looking a little ordinary? Is it lacking something awesome? Well, head out to your local liquor store and pick up something extraordinary. Grab a bottle of Old Humble Straight Whiskey or Old Humble Special Reserve. They're clean, smooth, easy drinking whiskeys that taste the way whiskey should taste. From humble beginnings to an extraordinary finish, Old Humble whiskeys are what your bar needs today. Walk tall, be awesome, and drink humble. Old Humble Straight Whiskey and Old Humble Special Reserve. Get yours today.
And we're back. All right, so that was a fun little adventure, I guess. Apparently, the flavored whiskey Nazis. Am I allowed to say Nazis out loud? The flavored whiskey mafia. Yeah, we'll go with that one. Did not appreciate me talking about their flavored whiskeys and how much shit they taste like, or how much they taste like shit. I don't care. They taste like trash. I don't like them. I don't like them. You can. You're welcome to like them. By all means, enjoy them. Mostly by means of your mouth. Really, it's the best way to drink whiskey. The only real correct way to drink whiskey. Really, the only correct way to drink whiskey is with your mouth, and I will go to my grave sharing that wisdom. Hopefully, that won't send me to my grave. That would be a weird reason to die. Very strange reason indeed. The black and silver labels look good. The guy who came up with those is really, really smart. I don't give a fuck. Way too much. I'm gonna need like 2 shots in my cup. Under, over, under. Up, back, over, through. Nice. I thread these things like I know what I'm doing. I almost do. Almost. Don't tell anybody though. People start thinking I'm an expert. They might start listening to me. Then what? Oh no. Then we'd be in trouble. All right, back label time. Now I am not going to be putting these straight into boxes because I still need to wipe the bottles down when I'm done with them. So I will be packaging them next. First things first, label them up. Then box them up. Because I got to clean them off. I'll clean them off as they go into the box. But I don't want to separate out this activity. I want to do one activity at a time. But one activity at a time. Besides, if I do too many activities, I got to take my bed and turn it into a bunk bed so that I have more space to do activities. God, that is stupid. All right. All right. So when it's just me doing the labeling alone, I like to put the front labels on first and then do the back labels over, under, over, under. It's like that 1980s movie, Airplane. Over, under, over, Roger. Over, under, over. Not quite straight, but very close to it. I can adjust that. Fixed, I hope. Actually, I think that label is actually crooked on the reel. The next one appears to be straight. Appears to be straight. I'm gonna freak people out and make that the name of my autobiography. Appears to be straight. They'll be all like, was he? It'll just be a mystery for the rest of my life as I troll people. Okay, so what I'll do, how should I do this? Because I can send them yeah, I'm just going to do it that way. I'm going to do one at a time, one label at a time. Partly because I don't really have a lot of space, and partly because it'll just go quicker that way. For you two guys go here. Actually, you guys go here. Do about an hour before the work. Don't judge me. So I'll knock these out as I move this way. I'll move back over, and then they all go in boxes. Simple and easy. Methodical. It also gives me a chance to inspect the bottles as they're being labeled. So that I can make sure that they have just whiskey in the bottles and not like dust or cardboard fluffs or anything like that. All right. That is aligned and ready. See, every time I set up the labels, there's a little variance to the previous reel, the previous roll of labels. Every time I set up, there's always a little variance. So there's always a little calibration that needs to happen to make sure that everything is nice and smooth and aligned up properly. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. Yeah, they use 2 here. And there's 4 here. Good. Now, one of these cases is going to stay here at the distillery. Everything else is going to go. 14 of these bottles, rather, will stay here at the distillery. Everything else is going to go to the distributor. Anyway, what I was saying about the flavored whiskey. I always get asked if I'm going to make a flavored whiskey. And my answer is no. And the reason being, you could literally buy a bottle of whiskey, take it home, grab an apple, slice it up, put it in a mason jar, then pour whiskey on top of that apple. Then you have the benefit of having the whiskey you just bought along with a whiskey that you just infused yourself with apples that you like or honey that you like, your own preferred flavors to the flavor that you prefer, and it's gonna taste better than any kind of flavored whiskey that a manufacturer can make. Because what we do, and make affordably, I'll add, because what we do with the whiskey to infuse it with flavors, some whiskey makers actually do the fruit infusion thing and flavor it with the fruits themselves. That whiskey is expensive. That flavored whiskey is expensive compared to other flavored whiskey. Because it's 100% the whiskey, 100% the fruit. The process takes time, and it's involved, right? Like handcrafting a rum cake or something like that. You can do that at home. You're not limited to what's on the shelf when you do it at home. You can have your own apple pie whiskey, and it is delicious and delightful. Do not for a second get me wrong. We'll do some of that here, but we're never going to sell it. We'll sell it as a cocktail, you know? But that's why we'll never, well, I will never. I'm not going to say that we won't hire a master distiller or a journeyman distiller who will do stuff like that, a blender or an assistant that'll do stuff like that here at the shop. That will not have my signature on it. That will not have my name on it. It won't be my stuff. And I don't have any problem with that. I'll let some kid come in here and do it. But, you know, I put in the time and effort to make my whiskey taste good. I don't mind you putting it in a cocktail. I don't mind you infusing it with stuff. It tastes good infused with stuff. But my passion, my interest, my desire for you is to take my whiskey home and explore my whiskey. Buy a bottle. Buy 2 bottles. Take one of those bottles and shove black cherries in it. By the way, black cherry whiskey is really damn good. Really good. And I strongly recommend doing it. Take it home. Pit the cherries. Drop them in a mason jar. Pour some whiskey on it. Let it sit for 3 days. Telling you. It's going to be damn good. We might do an infusion night here at the distillery. Maybe I'll do a whiskey infusion YouTube video. Show people how to do it. Do 2 parts. Part 1 is making it. We'll fade to black. And part 2 we'll do a tasting. A virtual tasting of our whiskey infusions. Or of whiskey infusions with our whiskey. More accurate there, because it wouldn't be our infusions. That'd actually be a really cool idea. Do a little member-based. You know, $5 you get for $10 you get a sample flight of that'd have to be $20. You get a sample flight of the infusion sent to you because it's, you know, the actual postage will cost money. But again, this would not be something that we would be doing as a product. It would be something we would be doing as an activity in which you can participate. That might be fun. Maybe I'll do that on the Twitter Spaces, or whatever the hell it's called on Twitter. Do 4 infusions, 2 with the straight whiskey, 2 with the special reserve. Shit, I'm getting hungry. Do a apple, peach, and then with the special reserve, do a vanilla bean and black cherry. Ooh, baby, that sounds good. A little fluff floating in there. It's cardboard fluff. We'll put that over here. Had me a little cardboard fluff. What a bubble. Bubble. Where you at, little bubble? There you go, bubble. We'll do it on a Wednesday night, too. Do one of our Wednesday night shows about whiskey infusions. But again, as an activity, not a product. Like a whiskey and cheese board. That's what I need to do. I need to find a cheesemonger who can hook me up with a whiskey and cheese board. Get some participants involved. Do a live whiskey and cheese night at the Old Humble Distilling Company. Ooh, that would be fun. That would be really fun. Do a whiskey and cheese night, a whiskey sausage night. A whiskey infusion night. I talked to Chef Chris. A whiskey desserts night. Maybe I can make some cheeses. You know, cheese making isn't really that hard to do. Get a little rennet, get a little milk. Heat up a little water. Bingo, bango, bongo, you got mozzarella cheese. Or if you prefer zip, zap, zoop, you got mozzarella cheese. Or if you're doing one of the French ones, like Gruyere, which I think is actually Swiss. Get a little water. Get a little goat's milk. Get a little rennet. And then zoutelon. You have the cheese, the fromage. Zoutelon. Speaking of zoutelon, I'm hungry. If you hadn't guessed, talk about food. Zoutelon. I will probably be leaving here. Putting y'all on the title screen for about 20 minutes. Leave here, go grab some foodie foods. There we go. Had a little mishap there. All right. Another question I get asked is whether or not I'll be doing cask strength whiskeys. And the answer to that is unlikely. And here's why. You take a cask strength home, unless you drink it at cask strength, unless you're going to drink it at 109 proof or 112 proof or whatever proof it is for cask strength, unless you're going to drink it at that full proof, you are perverting my whiskey. What are you talking about, Old Humble guy? You sound like a lunatic. All right, that's fair. Here's the thing. The good Lord above delivers our water to us. He shines his countenance upon our little distillery in the woods here, looks down upon us and says, "Behold, unto you I give a gift of water." And the skies open up and the rain falls down and we sing our praises to him up on high, and we collect that rainwater. For yea, unto us a miracle has been done. And we take that rainwater and we put it in our whiskey. Our whiskey is made with that miracle. We filter it, we clean it. We make sure there's no heavy compounds in it. We make sure there's no organic compounds in it. We make that whiskey delicious. Yep. But you don't want that whiskey. You want that whiskey. You want that whiskey to be 110 proof instead of 90. Yourself. Greedy. I'm kidding. You just want cask strength because cask strength is cask strength. I get that. That's cool. But you're going to go home, and unless you drink it at full proof, unless you drink it at the 115 proof, you're going to take your dirty old tap water. You're going to freeze your dirty old tap water with its fluoride, with its chlorine, with its calcium, with its magnesium, lead maybe, plutonium, whatever the hell else comes in your water. I don't know. I don't know you. I don't know where you live. But you're going to take all that shit and you're going to put it in my whiskey. All because you wanted to reject the miraculous offering from on high. The Lord looks down upon us and he says, "Yea, unto you I give this gift of rain, pure, fresh, East Texas rainwater." And then you're going to take that water and you're going to say, "No. I don't want that miracle. I want to use tap water instead." And then you're going to cut my whiskey down to 90 proof or lower with your filthy tap water? I am insulted that you would do such a thing to my whiskey. So yeah, we're not going to do a cask drink anytime soon. Because the Lord saith unto me, provide them with a finished whiskey. And they shall be joyful, and they shall go unto the promised land, and they shall see enlightenment. And yea, unto you shall be prosperity. You and your people shall be prosperity and joy. And I want prosperity and joy. Don't you? You, me, and my people. So that means you. Prosperity and joy. And unless a new revelation comes from on high, I will not be doing cask drink whiskey. So speaketh the Reverend Shepherd. So saith the word. Oh, Jesus. I am cuckoo bird sometimes. Oh, man, that looks delicious. I want to have a drink. Yo, I want to have a drink. It looks so good. Looks good. Feels good. Tastes good. Is good. Real good. Corn cutter. So yeah, this is the glamorous life of a distiller. This is what we do. This is what I do on a fairly regular basis. Got questions? I'll tell you all about it. So let's talk about building a business. I said I would talk about that earlier. Let's talk about that now. The real challenges of building a business that nobody ever tells you about. Now, you think it's open your doors, lines form, start pushing out product. 2 months later, you buy your first Jaguar. A couple months after that, you're in the mansion, right? That's not how it works. So there's the whole market building portion of the business. You know, unless you have a product that is used by millions, like a, electronic payment service or something like that. You know, or a product that's worth millions to someone else. Like, you've got to toil and you've got to find a market for this stuff, right? You've got to convince people to try it. I mean, if you're selling art or something like that, you've got to build a market for your art. If you're a comedian, you've got to build your audience. I mean, this is the same with any other business. You know, if you're a salesman selling cars, for example, you've got to build your audience of car purchasers. And a lot of times, that audience is built into your place of business. They show up on Sundays for car tire kicking when no salesmen are around. They show up on Saturdays and shop for cars. They may come 3, 4, 5 Saturdays in a row. Your job as a salesman and your sales manager's job as a salesman is to not have them come back, because once they leave, the chances of them coming back are lower. Chances of them coming back and making a purchase go down every time they leave the facility, because once they practice leaving, they start getting good at it. You never want a customer to get good at leaving. Once they get good at it, they do it a lot. You've already spent the money to get them through the door. You want to keep them around, right? Right. So, that's part of the function of having the building, the car lot, the sales lot, is market building. You know, the customers walk through the door at an auto dealership not because they're looking for bread, but because they're looking for a car. Or maybe they're just curious. They just want to shop around. They want to feel the leather. They want to smell the new car smell. I've never been particularly into new car smell or new cars. I like them. Don't get me wrong. They're a luxury that I thoroughly enjoy. But I tend to drive the wheels off my cars. I have 170,000 miles almost on my car now. It's almost 10 years old. I got it in 2013, I think. Next year, it will easily have 200,000 miles on it. And I loved it when it was brand new. I still love it. Brand new cars. They're great. You feel that leather on your skin. Not in summer in Houston. It's hot. Ouch. You know, it doesn't have any of the stains on the seats or on the floors. The carpet's fresh. The carpet's clean. The paint's fresh. No scratches. Everything's nice. I love new cars. They're great. You don't have to worry about them starting. They just work. You know? When a car gets up in years, you kind of got to put a little bit of thought into regular maintenance and all that stuff. You know, old cars aren't free. They're paid for, but they're never free. And that's always something to remember too. Old cars can be paid for, but they're never free. You got to maintain those guys. But that's part of building a business, is building your market. You know, when you're in sales, you're like, okay, I got to get 15 sales this month. Where are those 15 sales going to come from? I've got to sell 25 cases. Where are those 25 cases going to come from? What stores have the 25 cases? Where do I need to go to make my promotions? Where do I need to focus my ads to? What do I need to do to increase sales at this store or that store? Or, you know, how do we manage this process to make things go smoother? Where are the hiccups in the road? If I sell 25 cases in the Dallas market, will the 25 cases be replaced? And when will they be replaced? That's important information. And you know, it's always a numbers game. When you're building the business, it's always a numbers game. You look at it, you go, okay, I need to do 25 cases. Where are we going to get the 25 cases from? This month I can do 10 here at the distillery. If we get 100 people, 10 cases is 120 bottles. Every other person buys 2 bottles, so that averages 1 bottle per person. So if I need 10 cases sold, it's 120 bottles. I have 100 people come through. If I have a particularly good month, I should be able to sell 120 bottles to 60 of those 100 people. Right? So where am I going to get the 100 people? Where do they come from? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Where are my other 2 bottles? These are the 2. Oh, I guess I put those 2 over there. That's where I put them. Well, that's good. We only had 1 bottle with a little floaty fluff. That's good. Considering they were open neck sitting on pallets, that's a very good number. Bye-bye. Time to switch. And then you go backwards and you deconstruct, kind of deconstruct that information. Okay, if I sell 10 here, 15 in the field, or 5 here and 20 in the field, how does that translate to revenue? And then you apply that to your next budget, et cetera, et cetera. But you know, building the business, there's several parts to it. You know, it takes, as you build that market, as you build your fan base, you have to also understand their buying habits. Like people who buy cars, you know, if you're a car salesman, they're not buying a car every month. Unlike milk, you know, Borden's knows that people are buying milk every 2 weeks or something like that. That same customer is going to buy milk every 2 weeks, right? So they need to sell 1 million gallons, then they need 1 million customers, because that same customer will be back to buy or they need 2 million customers, because if one customer is going to buy milk every 2 weeks, They need to sell their customers a gallon of milk every 2 weeks, and they need 1 million customers this week and 1 million customers next week because they're not going to be back for 2 weeks. Who we got in chat? What's up, brother? Bull Rush. Yes. Well, it's not oppressively hot in here yet, but it is definitely getting warmer. It is certainly warm enough to warrant the non-bifurcated pantaloons. I'm bekilted today, 100% because the kilt provides its own ventilation and air conditioning every time the wind blows. But it's what, 90, low 90s right now? It's not too bad. It's tolerable. But yeah, as I was saying, the process of building the business, you got to find your customers, you got to be able to translate their buying habits, understand their buying habits, and translate their buying habits into models and actual revenue. And then plan that out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We got the rye. We got the rye. We're open on Friday. We got the music Friday. The Don May project is here Friday. So come on in, man. We have a full menu, as a matter of fact. We have our special reserve. We have our straight whiskey. We have our rye. We have everything as of tomorrow. I haven't seen you around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I haven't seen you around much at all. You're due. Forward by 2 bottles. Move them ever so slightly forward. Oh, hell, I got plenty. Good. I need to get a pair of boots. Because every time I get water on the floor here at the shop, I damn near bust my ass. And my shoes, I'm just about worn through the sole on these shoes. I only ever have. Here's a fun fact about me. I only ever have in my possession at any given time 2 pairs of shoes. 3 tops. I very rarely have in my possession more than 3 pairs of shoes. It's partly because I'm a weirdo, partly because I'm lazy, partly because I just don't value shoes as a fashion accessory, and I usually have a pair of boots, a pair of sneakers, and a pair of dress shoes. But since I started working the distillery full time, I do not have pairs of dress shoes, generally speaking, because I don't generally have to wear dress shoes. And I used to have a pair of boots, but I wore the sole out on those boots, so I don't have a pair of working boots. So now all I've got is just my shoes, which aren't really sneakers. They're just basically very comfortable, fashionable slippers, because I'm on my feet. See? There's my treads. There's none. I'm on my feet doing this at the distillery. So, like, I want, like, a cushioned sole so that my back doesn't kink all the time. So I basically wear comfortable shoes rather than fashionable shoes. Anyway, I've been reduced to like one pair from my normally frugal 3. I've been reduced down to 1. And I think at my high point, I might have had 5 pairs of shoes at one point. So I had a pair of running shoes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. I had a pair of running shoes and a pair of boots and a pair of black shoes and a pair of brown shoes. And I think they were on sale at Payless for buy one, get one free. And I had my work shoes. I worn a hole in my work shoes, as I tend to do because I wear them every day. By work shoes, I mean dress shoes at the bank. And then I got a replacement for my brown shoes. It was probably brown shoes that I had. And I just, since it was buy one, get one free, I'm like, fine, I'll get a pair of free shoes with it. Or a pair of half. I don't remember if it was free or half price. Buy one, get one half price. But I figured might as well get a pair of black shoes while I'm getting another pair of brown shoes. So I literally got two pairs of shoes that were identical, with the exception that one was black and one was brown. Is this a different Bull Rush 4570? Is that what your screen name always has been? 4570? And you know, I've gone through boots. I've resold the soles of my boots that I have. They're basic boots. They're not fancy. I'm not a fancy person. They're basic brown boots, just, you know, plain old brown leather boots. Plain old hard sole brown leather boots. Nothing fancy, nothing exquisite. Not like ostrich leather. 3 payments. Just goofing. None of that shit. I mean, hell, even my running shoes are basic Asics. Just, you know, cover my sole and let me run type of shoes. But I tell people I only have like 3 pairs of shoes. They're like, how do you even get dressed in the morning with only 3 pairs of shoes? I'm like, what, are you a woman? Jesus Christ. You need 3 pairs of black shoes to match your dresses? What the fuck is wrong with you people? And I get it. Some people have like a pair of shoes to mow the lawn, a pair of shoes to, you know, whatever. I have a pair of Mexicans. No, I guess they're Guatemalans. A pair of Guatemalans to mow my lawn. I don't mow my lawn anymore. I have stuff to do on Saturdays. What shoes did I use for sun? Yeah. I do have a pair of biking shoes. That is correct. So I guess I have 2 pairs of shoes right now. In fact, I have 2 pairs of cycling shoes because I lost a pair of cycling shoes. I bought a new pair, and then I found my pair of cycling shoes, and I think I used the new pair twice. Maybe 3 times. But, so I could, in fact, have 3 pairs of shoes now. But 2 of them are cycling shoes. But I don't really count those because that's kind of like that's more a part of the bike than it is footwear. You know, it's not like running shoes that I can wear them elsewhere and other times. You know, I can slip into my running shoes and go to the store. I can't slip into my biking shoes and go to the store. You know, those are equipment. My nose itching. Those are equipment that's really more part of the bike than part of the accessories, the fashion accessories. So that's like, you know, I don't consider my bike helmet a hat. It's a biking helmet. Specifically for biking. You don't put on a bike helmet and go to the grocery store. Unless you're one of those people that puts on a biking helmet and go to the grocery store. So yeah, I do have a couple of pairs of clip-in bike shoes. But, again, more equipment than fashion. I did get a pair of blue ones because blue ones are faster. And that's true. Blue shoes are faster. Sure. I worked with a guy who had like a guy, mind you, who had a shoe closet. Like, I know my wife has an idiotic number of shoes. She has more shoes than you could possibly. And I know she has a ridiculous amount of shoes because she leaves them everywhere. And, you know, she's got the black sandals and the black toe sandals, the black toe-less sandals, the black high heels, the black flats, she has like 6 pairs of black shoes. She's also a teacher, and she wears them with for different occasions, and different situations, and different circumstances at school. Okay, fine. Teacher's gonna teach. That's fashion accessories. 90%, I was going to say 60%, probably 90% of my clothes in general is blue jeans and a My sneakers go with my blue jeans. My sneakers go with my blue jeans and t-shirt. All of them. Well, I don't even have sneakers. I just have whatever these are. My Georges, my flats. If I could get away with oh my God, if I just had a pair of boots that were comfortable that I could wear all the time, oh my God. That would be heaven. What kind of boots did you say you had? Danner boots. See, I've had hiking boots. I had a pair of hiking boots I got for our trip to Nebraska. And I wore those. I've literally worn the shell off of those. They were cloth. Cross-country hikers. The sole is mostly intact still, which I guess most of us can say for ourselves as well, right? Our sole's mostly intact. Oh, up top. It took 2 years for that sole to finally crack. But what finally gave out on those shoes was the shell, the upper. Finally wore a hole in the upper part of those shoes. And then they just, once that happened, everything else kind of went to hell real fast. And the soles were kind of falling off those shoes. And I could literally feel rocks through the soles of the shoes. Anyway, I need boots. Good boots. And I used to always wear removable toe for teaching combat boots with a removable toe. kids actually are not the kind of heathens that she would. She's not going into combat when she's going into school anymore. She has taught in schools that she was fully needing to be prepared for a day of combat, but she is no longer in those schools. You know, the kind of schools where the kids would literally be climbing the walls. That's a whole public school system is just all kinds of fucked up. If the Texas Department of Education, the Texas School Board, would give public schools the same kind of leeway that they give charter schools, things would be different. But the problem is, the state of Texas is constitutionally obligated to provide an education system that is part of the duties of the state government. It is also one of the duties of citizens of the state to go to school and be educated. So there are literally laws on the books that require you to go to school if you are a child, and requires you to send your kids to school if you are an adult with children. So public schools have to take the kids, and there's no other place for them to go. Charter schools don't have to take the kids. They may not. They're not technically allowed to turn down kids. Like if you're on the list and you're the next name up, you're in. Poof. Zip zap. Zoot along. You're in. But they can then establish parameters by which you will be ejected from the school through either attendance or behavior. Come a little closer. Through attendance or behavior or academics or whatever other category or classification they can put on there. They just can't kick you out because, actually, they can kick you out for special needs if they do not have the resources to handle your special needs or cannot get the resources to handle your special needs. So, if you've got cerebral palsy or muscular dystrophy, or I think those are two different things, MS, or, whatever, they can kick you out because they don't have the resources to handle you. They can try, they can demonstrate that they made an effort and then boot you out. So Danners. I had Cabela's, my hunting boots. Some of my most comfortable shoes were hunting boots, and I would wear those out. I would wear them everywhere, and just eventually they would just literally fall off my feet. I guess I'm just cheap as hell. I don't want to spend $200 on a pair of boots. I'm just cheap. That's what it boils down to. I just want to spend $50 on a pair of shoes that I'm going to turn to dust over the course of the next 6 to 12 months. I think I bought the shoes that are on my feet in December, if I recall. I can't remember. But like I said, these are might have been January for that matter. These were literally $15 shoes that I grabbed at Walmart because I needed something to stand on a cushion because I'm on my feet so damn much during the day. You wouldn't know with how fat I am that I'm on my feet so much during the day. But this is because I like food and whiskey. I don't have a drinking problem unless I run out of whiskey. Then I have a drinking problem. And that's another damn thing. I make some reels. I make some funny reels. I make some funny fucking TikToks. You know how many takes? Make some reels. Make some TikToks. Drink a shot at the end of my reel, at the end of my TikTok. Yes, the school co-ops where families combine. Yep, those are basically the home educated, homeschooled kids, but the families band together and they. It's kind of defeating the purpose of homeschooling your kids. Like, I don't want them to go to school. I don't want them damn teachers teaching my kids. So I need to get together with a couple of other families to hire a teacher to teach my kids. It's kind of the most expensive way to homeschool your kids, because you're not just paying for, you're already paying for the school. Now you're paying for the school and another teacher on her free time to come in and do the stuff that, I could teach my kids just fine until it comes to actually teaching them. They're like, oh, we need a teacher. Yep. Looky there. You have a professional coming in to take care of that. That problem, so I drink. I tell people whiskey won't solve your problems, but it's definitely a solution. In our case, it's a 45% alcohol solution. And if a bottle of whiskey won't solve your problems, well, then nothing's going to solve your damn problems. So you might as well go out and work on solving it in the real world, but no reason not to stop drinking. No reason to stop drinking. Whatever, you know what I mean. The official whiskey of a good day's work. I am slamming these bottles. I bet that sounds like shit in your ears, doesn't it? So I just go and bam! That goes right through the microphone, doesn't it? I'm sorry, I'll stop. Everybody else in the office is looking at you while your computer suddenly goes boom. What is he doing? Like, nope, just porn. Don't mind me. Anyway, so I do a reel, do a TikTok, do a short, and I keep getting these comments, well, you got to actually drink the shot. Like, these people don't realize how many takes it requires to get one of these shorts or one of these reels done right. And, if I drank a shot every damn time I did a take, I would be dead. Not even drunk, just dead. Just straight up dead. Because it takes me probably 6 tries, at least, to do a reel or a TikTok or a short. It probably takes me 6 solid attempts before I'm finally satisfied with the one that I did. And usually, I'll practice it 3 or 4 times, and then I'll actually record it. And so I'll practice it 3 or 4 times, and then when I start recording it, it's still like 6 takes to get it done right in a way that I'm satisfied with it. Because a lot of these takes are one single shot, and it's only 45 seconds, 60 seconds, 15 seconds, even the ones that are 15 seconds. It's certainly, for 15 seconds, it's not more than one clip, but a 15-second monologue isn't much. It's like 2 sentences. You ever wonder the correct way to drink your whiskey? Well, let me tell you. The only correct way is with your mouth. Anything else, you're doing it wrong. Enjoy your damn whiskey. That's like 15 seconds right there. So, 15 seconds, take a shot. Like, nope, I listened to it. Nope, I rushed over those words. Misspoke. redo it, redo it, redo it. And then by the end, you're like, okay, I'm going to pour this shot off camera, and I'm going to grab this empty shot glass, and I'm going to drink from the empty shot glass, because it'll look like I'm drinking it, especially if my big old hand is covering the whole glass. Because by the third shot in 45 seconds, third shot in a minute, if you're not beginning to feel it, you're not aware of your feelings, I guess. I don't know. That is the fourth shot in less than an hour is legally where you are intoxicated. And if you're taking 3 quick shots in like 5 minutes, you have progressed well towards the line of fucked up. And you're going to stay loose for about an hour until one of those wears off or metabolizes. Because you will metabolize one every hour. Like shooting a porno. Well, I guess so. I'm pretty sure. That's a good question. Like when you're doing a porno, like you only get like one good shot at the money shot, right? Hang on a second. Somebody just showed up. UPS guy is looking for some D. Just kidding. He's looking for sweet D. It doesn't sound better. That's the CrossFit guys. Across the way. So anyway, I wonder, when you're shooting, like you only get one shot, so to speak, at the money shot. Do they have like stunt doubles to come in, so to speak, for the retakes? Is there a retake? Is there a reshoot? Or are they like, we only got one shot of this, people. Everybody in your places. Or is that why they just don't show the guy's face? Maybe they don't show the guy's face because they're just more interested in the chick. This is a general function of the form of entertainment. And if self-aware guys ever thought about that, like during a porno, all you see is her face and his dick. That's it. Like if you guys ever thought about that, like half of what you're looking at is really gay. I'm just wondering. No shame. Like, you do you. You be you. I don't care. I don't remember who might have been George Carlin. Might have been George Carlin. Might have been Bill Burr. No, it wouldn't have been Bill Burr. Might have been Bill Hicks. He did a comedy bit about that. Like everybody's a little bit gay. And just think about it. Like when you're watching porno, what do you want to watch? You want to see a guy with a tiny little shriveled up limp dick, or do you want to see a big, thick, hard, strong thrust? See? Exactly. I think it was Bill Hicks. Sounds like Bill Hicks. Like in my mind when I'm remembering the comedy bit, it looks like Bill Hicks doing it, but he's been dead for a while. They do multiple takes, and edit them together. But how do you do? I mean, that's a skill. If you do multiple takes of the money shot, that's bravo. But I guess that's why they're professionals. That's why porno is work. They gotta put in the hours. Like I just popped off, but I gotta come back and Give me some bananas. I don't know what they use to recharge. I'm thinking bananas because, you know, the phallic nature of bananas. Give me some peaches. Give me some peaches and cream and bananas in 20 minutes. I'll be back. But of course, they're also on set with like insert porn actress's name here. I'm not sure. Isn't there a Reeves? Something? Probably a Christie. Is there a Tyra? I'm sure there's a Tyra. Call it Tyra Reeves. Christy Reeves. Is that Riley? Pretty sure there's a Riley. Riley Reeves? No. Riley Jones? Anyway, it'll come up later, I'm sure. Jenna Jones. That's a name. I think. Whatever. If it was easy, everyone would do it. Yep, it was true. If it was easy, everyone would do it. That's got to be just a weird job in general. Like how it intersects with your personal life. How it affects your... I mean, I used to work at Subway when I was a kid. And, you know, I made meatball subs, and I loved meatball subs. And there came a point where I was just like, I've had enough meatball subs. I mean, it's got to be, you know, on the other hand, I make whiskey, and there has not come a time where I've said, you know what, I've had enough whiskey, I don't want to drink tonight. I enjoy whiskey. I guess it's kind of the same thing. You enjoy it, it's not really work. But still, it's got to be weird. You know, you go out, you're in the grocery store, and there's some kid there with his mom, you know, some teenage kid with his mom, and he's like, and then you're just like, I'm just trying to get some ice cream or whatever, cucumbers. I don't know. I'm sure they're like normal people and they just eat cereal and stuff like that. But still, you know, you're just out there minding your own business. And then someone's like, I saw you get fucked by 8 guys. And you're like, yeah, that was me. It's a living. I mean, nobody would ever come up to me and be like, oh man, I saw you balancing the books on that spreadsheet. Ain't nobody gives a shit when I used to do accounting. Hardly anybody gives a shit then. Yeah, that makes sense. Exclusively dating other people in the industry. They get regularly tested, and I mean, that makes sense. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 boxes. And a pallet. Huh. That pallet right there. The one that I need. Okay. This. Give me the one. This one is going to be the one. So one of the boxes. And then it goes to the river. And on the truck, it goes all the way on. After this. Let's go. There goes that. This pallet is over. All right. another one of those situations. It's there. I saw something out of the corner of my eye. But there are no people here. I'm coming back. Calm down. Hang on a second. Yes, it's good. Like I got just enough to do what I need. I got the thing that I need to do the thing that I need. I see it's just like me. I date almost exclusively within my industry of women who are married to guys who make whiskey. So it works out really good for both of us too. I date exclusively within my own industry as well. So I get it. It makes sense that porn actors. Our bar is stocked with a little bit over a case of Special Reserve whiskey. One bottle goes over this for a good day's work. Ba-bam. Blam, 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 blam. We support all sins equally. Riley Reed. That's a name that I know. I don't know if she's still in the industry though. Jameson. It's Jameson, not Jones. Jenna Jameson. I told you it'd come back to me eventually. But yeah, that makes sense. Lower risk of STDs. Motherfucking. All right. I'm hungry. I'm a little cranky. But not a problem. I also need one more piece of paper to attach. I may have to print out more pieces of paper to attach. last step in the boxing process. I put a label on the box so that I know what's in the box. Because it's not always Gwyneth Paltrow's head, even though that is always the correct answer. It's always the correct answer, but it's not always what's actually in the box. So if anybody ever asks you, just like pop quiz, what do you do? The answer is always shoot the hostage. Always. But sometimes the answer is also something else. So in this case, while the answer is always Gwyneth Paltrow's head, the answer is also something else, which is Special Reserve whiskey from the Old Humble Distilling Company. Oh, and dating other people in my industry doesn't prevent STDs, although it does prevent STDs if I exclusively date women who are married to people who run the Old Humble Distilling Company. But it does definitely prevent me from losing half of my shit and murder. Me getting murdered. It doesn't prevent all circumstances of me getting murdered, but it certainly prevents most circumstances of me getting murdered. Because I'm fairly certain that dating outside of my pool of eligible bachelorettes who are married to other people who run the Old Humble Distilling Company, if I date outside the pool of those women, or that woman, there's a fairly high likelihood that one of those women outside that pool would murder me. Or at least be crazy. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But it's also a very high likelihood that the women inside the pool of women who are married to guys who run the Old Humble Distillery would also murder me. So you see, I'm actually creating 2 groups of murderers by going and dating outside the pool of eligible bachelorettes who are married to people who run the Old Humble Distilling Company. And it's generally healthier. It's generally a healthier lifestyle to not create a pool of people who want to murder you. Generally speaking, you will live a longer life if you have fewer people on earth who want to murder you, actively want to murder you. So, if I were giving dating advice, and as one of the only people I know who are qualified to give actual dating advice, one of the best pieces of dating advice I would give is do not create people who want to murder you. Like, most people already don't want to murder you. Like, you specifically. And they may want to murder somebody in general, but not you specifically. Ideally speaking, don't give them a reason to murder you specifically. You know? Like, you're always going to run across the crazies who are going to just randomly murder people. You might be a victim of that one of these days. You never know. Right? Let the chips fall where they may. There's like 9 active mass murderers in the country right now. It's probably a safe bet that most murders are committed by just a handful of people. Maybe. Yeah. That's probably not a safe bet. But a disproportionate number of the murders committed, let's go that way, are committed by just a handful of people. That's it. So you don't want to give them a reason to murder you specifically. Like, just generally don't interact with people in general. But also, you know, like don't like piss off one individual enough that they would want to take their stiletto heel and jam it in your forehead and then run you over with their car and then back over you again just to see if you were okay so that they could then go over you one more time in case you weren't. You know, just as a general life lesson. There's better ways to spend your time. Do I need help? I don't need help. There's not a huge pool of distillery groupies that I know of, but I don't exactly go looking. I'm not shopping. It's probably more like a pool of gold diggers. They're like, "Oh, you have your own business? I want some of that." Until you're like, "Look at my car. Look at my shoes. There's no gold to be dug here." You're gonna be digging for a while, baby. There ain't nothing to find. In fact, when it comes time to like turn the lights off in the house, I just kind of go through the house and start telling them about my day. That turns them off pretty quick. It's not. Now, rumor is the marketing girls, you know, the hiring of marketing girls is a lot like the casting couch in some places. You know, because they're basically models, and as you can see, my stable of employees is vast and differentiated, so I can't speak to whether that rumor is true or not. I have no experience in that world. But I have heard comments, snide comments of all sorts being tossed around. That's just how it is. Nope, doesn't have to be. Certainly not with everybody. Like, there are decent people in this world. But I guess I have worked at bars in the past. Of course, it was like 20 years ago, though. When I worked, last time I worked at bars, probably longer than that, close to 30 years ago. When last time I worked, like in a bar. But like everybody was fucking everybody else. So. But again, that was eons ago. And I assume it's not drastically different now. You know, you got kids in their 20s with plenty of money and time on their hands. I don't see why they wouldn't constantly be fucking everybody else. More power to them, right? Thanks for the offer, Bull Rush. No, I don't need. I got it. We're down to the last several bits that need to be done here. More a function of time than effort at this point. It's just going to take time to get this stuff done. And I've got this pallet. The next thing is going to be putting everything together and getting it done. Because I've got 2 pallets I need to have put together to ship out. I've got this pallet with the Special Reserve. I'm going to add the rye to the pallet of Special Reserve. If you like your brake lines, you can keep your brake lines. Yes, exactly. I'm going to combine this with the pallet of Special Reserve, and then the pallet that I have over here of the straight whiskey is going to be on its own. The order is for 76 cases. 48 of them are straight whiskey. The rest are, the other 28 are the straight Special Reserve and straight rye. So then tomorrow I come in. Tomorrow I'll be in and I will be working on the gin, bottling the next batches of gin, I think. Got a little crinkle on the back label here. Work that out. I'm doing it again with the bottle. Smash it down onto the table. Sorry about that. But we will bring this a little closer. There we go. Every bottle gets a little rub to make sure it's nice and clean. This is a very nice whiskey. A very delightful. It's got a little punch to it. This latest batch has a little punch to it, but it's almost all up front. Got a lot of upfront flavor, and then it's really smooth on the back end. The way I like it. Really smooth on the back end. So it's not, it's a very complex whiskey, and that's one of the things I really like about our Special Reserve. It's got layers to it. Where our straight whiskey is really sweet and really simple. Our Special Reserve it's not very sweet, and it's complex, but not overly complex. You know what I mean? It's a very good hybrid type whiskey where it's not quite bourbon, but it's complex, but it's not quite as complex as bourbon. It's just a good middle flavor type of whiskey. Middle ground between bourbons and other stuff. It mixes well. Like I said, a black cherry infusion. I wonder if black cherry infusion would be good with the rye. Huh. I don't know what I would infuse the rye with. Maybe could I do a chocolate infusion with the rye? Because I put the rye in cocoa. Get the baby. Put the rye in cocoa. Maybe a little chocolate infusion in the rye. Like a chocolate simple syrup, maybe. Do a chocolate old fashioned. Ooh, a chocolate old fashioned with our rye. That's dangerous. That is dangerous. Yeah, that's what we'll do. An old fashioned bar. We'll do a little old fashioned bar here at the distillery. You're gonna have different types of old fashions. Cherry old fashioned, raspberry old fashions. Chocolate old fashioned, something like that, you know? Blackberry rye. Oh yeah. That'd be something. That'd be something to try. See, I don't have any interest in making flavored whiskeys, but I like the idea of infusions that I could do at the bar as cocktails. And then literally you buying the drink or you buying the bottle and taking it home and doing it yourself. You know what I mean? Inspiring you to upgrade your cocktail game or your whiskey bar in general. Like inspirational cocktails. Because I don't have any interest in doing infusions or in selling the infused whiskey. I have zero interest in that. But I do like cocktails. I do like cocktails, and I do like selling bottles of whiskey. So, move this down here. All right. Slight change of process here. I'm going to fill up the boxes and start stacking the boxes over here. And then we'll load them onto the pallet when we're done. And then we'll be pretty much done with this workday. I've got a few little things that need to be done still. I need to clean out the pumps for the bottler, for the filter. We could run some clean water through it to get the whiskey out so that we can do the gin. While I think the flavor of whiskey is delightful, people who drink gin don't want their gin tasting like whiskey, which is a character flaw, no question about it. It is a character deficiency, but they can still overall be good people with character flaws. We've all got them. That's not saying that all character flaws are benign, but, you know, it is saying that some people can still be good people, even with character flaws. Come on. See if I can fix that. A mix masters class. Oh, that'd be cool. I could even bring in a DJ. Get it? Mix masters? Mix masters class at the Old Humble Distilling Company featuring DJ Down Low. Down, DJ dropping DJ DJ. I can't think of a word that relates to a cocktail. DJ downspout? No, whatever. Yeah. Mixed masters class or an infusion class. And that's the type of thing that we could do online too. I was talking about that we could do a members only tastings and sample flights and stuff like that, or we could do a ticketed class through Twitter Spaces or through YouTube, do a private live show on YouTube. I think that would work. You pay $5, you get or $20, you get a flight of whiskeys, a flight of infused samples, and a link to the private live show where you can come in and participate with the tastings. I mean, it's not the same as doing a subscription membership or something like that, but it would have the same basic effect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, okay. DJ Dirty South. Ah, perfect. DJ Dirty South. DJ Dirty Martini. That'd be good. And I've never typically been a fan of gin either, but this gin that we make with this guy, this Flower Moon gin, it's a really good, for a gin. Again, not my preferred flavor of alcohol, but it's got a nice bouquet. It's got a nice aroma. It's got a nice flavor to it. It's got kind of a spicy, citrusy type of flavor. It's really good. And of course, it's really nice with the tonic too. And don't get me wrong, it's really an all-around good drink. But on just gin on ice, which is not something that I ever thought was a thing to drink, that's nice. It really is. I've always looked down on gin because, if you've got to take your drink and just drown it in something else to make it taste good, then it's, not something you really like. There's no promises. There's no promises. None. Never. These tastings and infusions, they go however they go. Private meetings are private meetings. You can't tell the mighty Mississippi where it's supposed to flow. It just flows, and then you hope to contain it. But I've always said that if you have to take your drink and drown it in something else in order for it to be palatable, then it's not palatable. It's not. It's fine if that's how you drink it. That's fine. But if you have to do that, then what's the damn point? Why drink something with flavor at all? Why not just get some cheap ass vodka and douse that in tonic and lime? And I don't see how vodka and tonic and lime taste any different than gin and tonic and lime. Because all you're really drinking is the tonic and lime. But to each his own. I mean, I'm never been, just because I don't understand it doesn't mean it ain't right. I don't get it, but if that's how you want to spend your $30, go right ahead. Spend your $30 on a drink that you're going to put in Kool-Aid or lemonade or whatever the hell other aid you want to put it in. That is the opposite of my problem. You're spending your money on it, not mine. And, you know, it's great. Buy my whiskey, pour it in Kool-Aid. It's fine. I don't care. That's how you want to do it. That's how you do it. Just do it. Now, I will espouse all day long about the benefits of having a drink that tastes good on its own, stands up on its own merits, because, quite frankly, those are the easiest drinks to make. The easiest cocktail to pour is a whiskey on the rocks or a whiskey neat. If that whiskey is a whiskey that tastes good, if the whiskey doesn't taste good, then that is a terrible drink to pour. And go get some mixers. And that's why cocktails were invented in the first place. Cocktails were invented in the first place in order to cover up the taste of shitty whiskey. Shitty whiskey, shitty rum, shitty alcohols of all types. In the Prohibition era, when cocktails were first popularized, they had a whole lot of backyard gins that just tasted like trash, and in order to cover up that flavor, they made cocktails out of them. And it also made the alcohol stretch farther, because they could put a shot in a glass and add mixer to the glass. And now, instead of having an ounce and a half or 2 ounces of alcohol, you had a 6-ounce drink that you could sip on all night long. And it's entirely possible you never had a decent gin. I had never had a decent gin either. And it's still not my preferred alcohol. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it's not like Flower Moon converted me from whiskey to gin. But, you know, I used to not like whiskey. I used to think whiskey tasted like shit. They all tasted the same. They were kind of garbage. And that's pretty much because I had only had 3 or 4 whiskeys in my entire life, and they had all come from pretty much the same region. And they all pretty much tasted the same because they were all pretty much the same. And they were born within 60 miles of each other. Less than a day trip to see all 4 of them at the same time. Or 3, yeah. And I like scotches more than bourbons because the scotches had more character. They had more character, more variety of flavor. But at the same time, I had scotches that were from different aging areas, different they're not growing areas, different distilling regions. There you go, different Scotch regions, different Scotch styles, different Scotch flavors, and all the Scotches so basically I was comparing apples and oranges because the bourbons that I had were all from the same basic area. They were all the same basic mash bill. They were all basically the same drink, and I thought they all tasted like shit. And I thought they all tasted the same. I'm like, well, this is what bourbon tastes like. Not realizing that bourbon could taste actually different because there were different regions of bourbon and stuff. And comparing that to Scotch, which had different stylistic regions, different stylistic flavors, different barreling styles, different aging styles. That'd be like getting a GMC truck, a Chevy truck, and saying, well, these are, assuming that those are American trucks, and saying, well, all American trucks suck. But, like, they're literally the same truck. And then you go get a Toyota Tundra, which is a distinctly different vehicle, a distinctly different truck. And saying, well, geez, all Japanese trucks are clearly better than American trucks. Not realizing the fact that you haven't even touched the surface of American trucks, because there's like 6 other truck brands out there that you haven't even looked at. That's probably a really bad analogy. I'm not a truck guy either. Because I'm not a car guy. I'm not a car guy in general, so that's probably a bad analogy. You get the point. But anyway, honestly, I could probably, before I started researching for Flower Moon to make sure I was doing well for my client, I really probably could have only named 2 types of gin, or 2 gin companies. Tanqueray and Bombay, I think. Bombay Sapphire and Tanqueray. I think those were the only 2 that I could think of before, but now I know of plenty, including that gorgeous bastard Ryan Reynolds Aviator Gin. Well, shit, now I can't think of any off the top of my head. But there's a lot out there. And if you're interested, then I would recommend doing a tasting with some friends. Everybody buys a bottle, brings over a bottle of gin. And then y'all do a sampling of different gins, so that you get 3 or 4 different bottles to try. And you kind of get to take a trip around the gin making world, from England and India to Oregon and Austin and the Midwest, and some delightful Asian gins. But most of the really good ones, well, most of the really big labels are from England. Because that's a traditional spirit of England is gin. Of the highfalutin high societies. They like their whiskeys, but it's mostly Scotch over there for their whiskeys. And some of the largest brands of Scotch in England are not made in Scotland. Well, they're made in Scotland, but they're bottled in London. Which is ironic. A little. Yes, you can absolutely come over and drink my shit. But I would also strongly recommend you bring a bottle, because then I can drink some of your shit. I don't mean getting Tanqueray or some garbage water. I mean, like, go on, find something that looks interesting and curious. Come over and we'll split a couple of bottles. I'll give you some of mine, you give me some of yours. We'll swap notes. It's one of the best ways to explore. You try something new and unusual. It's not just the path less trodden. It's the path that doesn't exist yet, that you didn't even know was there. you hack your way through the bush, and there's a footpath that you didn't even know was there. That's fun. All right, we're in the home stretch now. I've been at this since about 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock is about when I came into the distillery this morning, give or take. And I'm just about done with the task at hand. And I started it yesterday at about 10 o'clock. At about 10 o'clock, when I was doing the bottling and stuff. Let's see, should I go ahead and seal up the boxes first? I probably ought to. And put the labels and move them, you know, the whole unitask type of one task at a time type of assembly line thing. Just goes quicker that way, I think. Maybe, maybe not. I am a business student, management student, processing student. I did all that shit in college. But I'm never quite certain. I think it goes quicker if you just do one thing at a time and run it through that way. It feels like it goes quicker if you do one thing at a time and process it through that way. It certainly feels like it. But it's probably 6 of one, half dozen of the other. I mean, I doubt I'm saving a whole lot of time. Because it's not like it's taking me a whole lot of time to do it. You know what I mean? It's like driving to your kid's school at 60 miles an hour versus 40 miles an hour. You might save 30% of your trip, but your trip time is only 6 minutes to begin with. So what are you really saving? What are you going to do with 2 minutes? Which is kind of the same thing that I tell merchant services processing people when they call me up. They're like, you can save 40% of your merchant services fees. I'm like, dude, my merchant services fees are like $12. The amount of hassle of this phone call is not worth $5. Screw off. Go away. Leave me alone. Now, if I was doing more merchant services, but hell, most of the fee that I pay on each individual transaction is like 87 cents, I think. That's the most common fee that I pay. Can't remember. It's not that big of a deal. All right. And now, finally, all goes into the boxes, or all the boxes go into the pallet. We're done. Almost done. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do final little cleanup stuff. I need to get labels on the rest of these boxes and palletize those boxes. But once I'm done with this, I'm going to go eat lunch. I'm hungry. 4, 5, 6. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stack these in a stack of 2 by 6. I'm sorry, 2 by 3 stack. Got 16 of them. that's 6. That'll be 3 rows. And then the rye whiskey will go on the other side. And I've got 12 of the rye whiskey. So they'll be next to each other, side by side. So when it gets into the warehouse, they'll have half of it on one side, half of it on the other, and it won't be half on top and half on bottom. Because I'm considerate of my warehouse, my distributor buying this stuff. To make it easy for them to buy more. By making it easy for them to get this stuff into stores. I'm thinking lunch today is Subway. Subway. That's what I'm feeling. Feeling Subway for lunch. Boy, I like me a meatball sub. And I know I was saying earlier, but I was done with meatball subs for a while. I did not eat them. But I may also kind of feeling a chicken ranch sub. Do a lot in 2 minutes. Yeah, but see, that's just the thing. When you save 2 minutes on a drive, it's not like you get to spend those 2 minutes later. They don't go into the bank. It just means you're sitting there for 2 minutes longer. In the parking lot, waiting for whatever to happen. Now, there can be the argument made that you drive like a bat out of hell in order to avoid the lights, and the 3 minutes you save, or the 30 seconds you save, turn into 3 minutes because you didn't sit there and wait at the light. But the net result still isn't like 3 minutes being tacked on somewhere else. It's just like 3 minutes still, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, perfect. Like 3 minutes still just like sitting in the damn car. It's just spent somewhere else and out of that light. But see, then again, I'm also a very generally zen individual. I mean, like, I get intense as hell when it comes to certain things, when it comes to getting stuff done here at the shop, when it comes to executing plans, when it comes to completing projects. I get fucking intense and competitive. Ooh, damn, I get competitive. But generally speaking, I'm pretty fucking zen. Like, it takes a lot to rile me. I mean, when I get riled, I'm good and riled. Don't get me wrong. 3 more minutes of peace on the toilet. Oh yeah. When we're generally finishing this, like, this is like, I have been distracting myself with talking in the live stream and interactions. But usually when I'm doing this stuff, I am zeroed in, focused on either the readings from the hydrometers. When we're doing the distillation runs, I am focused. I am zeroed in. I am watching that whiskey come out. I am watching the hydrometer I am on the details, and I am fairly tightly wound. But even, with that tightly wound, the tightly wound, the woundedness, even with being tightly spun on that, it's still pretty fucking thin. There we go. Table's cleared. We are ready for the next thing. And the next thing will be. This was the last bottle off the still, or the last bottle out of the bottler yesterday. So next up is lunch. At the end of a job well done, we have a job well done cocktail. The official whiskey of a job well done. So get out your cups. I mean, if you're in the office and you can't, then that's fine. I'll give you a second to get your coffee or whatever. It's fine. I'm not going to judge. You want to have water? It's cool. It's cool. Don't mind me. I'm just going to have a little whiskey. It's fine. Here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these. I'm going to have to print more pages. I have to explore one of these days what shit triggers me. Like literally, like truly gets me like pissed off. It's not whiskey stuff. I could probably think of a few things that truly triggers me out. Like just dirt bags tend to piss me off. But that'll be for another day. Guys, it's time for lunch. It's been fun. It's time for lunch. It's time for me to go to the print shop. I got to print some more of those. Got to label those up, put those in things. I've got to do some stuff outside the shop, so we can't play any longer. I've got to go home. But in the meantime, enjoy your job well done shot. Your coffee, your water, your wine, your whiskey, whatever it is you're drinking there at the office. Cheers. Till next time, be awesome to each other. Think with your whole head and love with your whole heart. Salute.